Do you remember the time we went to the beach?
It was a beautiful day, Grandpa.
But then the rain came.
Oh, I remember.
We were soaked.
It was an adventure.
One day I realized something I wasn't ready for. My children loved me, but they were happier when I wasn't there. I'm 68 years old. I have two kids, a son, Marcus, who's 41, a daughter, Claire, who's 38. Good people, decent people, the kind of people other parents point to and say, look how well they turned out. And for a long time I told myself the same thing. Look how well they turned out. It started with small things I didn't notice. Or maybe I noticed and told myself it meant nothing. The visits got shorter, 2 hours instead of a full afternoon. Then just lunch, then just coffee, then sometimes just a phone call that lasted 11 minutes. I know it was 11 minutes because I started counting. I'm not proud of that. Claire would come, and before she even sat down, she'd already mentioned she had somewhere to be after. Marcus would pull out his phone to check the time before we'd even finished eating. I told myself it was the modern world. Everyone's busy now, everyone's distracted. Phones, jobs, the pace of everything. That's what I told myself for 3 years. There was a Sunday last winter. Marcus brought his wife and the two grandkids. It was supposed to be a nice afternoon. His daughter Maya, she's 9, she walked in excited, talking about a school project she'd done on space. She'd built a little model of the solar system out of foam balls, won some kind of small award for it. She was glowing, the way kids glow when they're proud of something. And I remember thinking I was engaging with her. I said, that's good, but you know, when I was in school, we had to memorize the entire solar system by hand. No internet, no help, and we didn't get awards for it. That was just expected. Maya got quiet. She didn't say anything else about the project. And Marcus changed the subject. I thought I was teaching her something. About effort, about standards. I didn't realize I had just turned off a light. That happened more than I want to admit. Claire called once, excited. She'd gotten a small promotion. Nothing huge, but she was happy about it. And I said, well, it's about time. You've been at that company long enough. She laughed, but it was a short laugh, the kind that closes a door. I thought I was being real with her, honest, not one of those parents who flatters their kids about everything. I didn't understand that there's a difference between honesty and welcome. I had a way of making every conversation circle back to something heavier. Marcus would mention a trip he was planning, and I'd start talking about my knees. Claire would talk about something she was excited about, and somehow we'd end up talking about her mother's funeral, or the neighbor who died, or money problems I'd had in 1987. I wasn't doing it on purpose, I want to be clear about that. But I see now that talking to me required a kind of emotional preparation. You had to brace yourself. You couldn't just call to share something small and happy. There was always weight waiting on the other end of the line. And after a while, people stop picking up things that are heavy for no reason. I compared them too. Not cruelly, or at least, I never meant it cruelly. But I'd mention Marcus's college roommate who had started his own business, or a woman Claire had grown up with who had 3 kids by now. Little observations, nothing malicious. I didn't understand what those comments did inside them. I didn't understand that every comparison felt like a quiet verdict. You are not quite enough. I never said those words, but I said everything that made them feel it. About 8 months ago, I heard something by accident. I wasn't eavesdropping. I want to be honest. I was in the kitchen. Marcus was out back on the phone with someone, his wife, I think, and the window was open. He said, "It's just hard to be there, you know? You have to be on the whole time. You can't relax." He wasn't angry when he said it. That was the thing. He sounded tired. I stood in my kitchen for a long time after that. I wanted to be angry. I tried. It would have been easier. But something else came instead. Something quieter and worse. I started going back through the years in my mind, not looking for proof that I was wronged, looking for something else, and finding it over and over. The dinners where I corrected people's facts at the table. The holidays where I brought up old grievances while everyone was trying to enjoy themselves. The phone calls where I gave advice no one asked for and then felt dismissed when they didn't take it. The moments where someone walked in carrying something fragile, some small, good feeling, And I, without meaning to, without even noticing, took it and turned it over until it broke. My children did not stop loving me. That's not what happened. What happened is they learned, slowly and quietly, that loving me came with a cost. And they started managing that cost the only way they knew how. Without confrontation, without cruelty. Just distance. Just shorter visits. Just 11-minute phone calls. I grew up in a house where love wasn't soft. Where being hard on people meant you cared. Where praise had to be earned and criticism was considered a form of respect. I carried that into my home, into my family, and I called it strength. I don't call it that anymore. I'm not telling you this so you'll feel sorry for me. I don't think I deserve that, not entirely. I'm telling you because I spent 3 years believing the problem was out there. Modern families, busy lives, cold younger generations. And the problem was in here. In the way I spoke. In the way I listened, or didn't. In the weight I put in every room I entered without even knowing I was carrying it. Last week Claire called. 22 minutes. She laughed twice, told me about Maya's new thing with drawing. I didn't say anything heavy, I just listened. When she hung up, I sat with the phone for a moment. 22 minutes. I thought, this is what it could have been. And then I thought, this is what it still can be. I don't know if that's true, but it's the only thing I have left that feels like hope. And at 68, I've learned not to put down something just because it arrived late.